Okay, so we're here at Rosslyn Chapel, and so unfortunately you can't video inside the chapel because some ignorant American tried to sue for tripping over when some other lady backed into her when she was filming or taking a photo. So typical Americans ruining the world for the rest of us. However, I can video from the outside, and I'm going to try and just sort of poke my head in and try and capture a little bit of the chapel inside. We had a really good talk from a lady in there. It lasted about 20 minutes, which would have also been really good to video for you. But again, we can't do that thanks to the leaders of our world. So, awesome place. Just inside is just incredible. The amount of carvings and it's just unbelievable. A lot of it's been restored from sort of in the 1700s. It went into a state of disrepair, and once again the English, Cromwell and his men, when they came up, they actually used the place as a stable for their horses. So, you know, and then it was damaged by the weather. There was no windows in it, and so the winter got in, and so a lot of it's sort of restored. But is suffering from, or did suffer for 300 years or so from basically being unkept. But everywhere inside and everywhere outside is just, everything is just carved. The money spent would have been just amazing. And of course it's carved sandstone, so you know, the algae got in, the weather got in. They put a 50-ton roof, steel roof over this, and it left it for 14 years, she said, and let everything try and dry out naturally. Since the Dan Brown book and the movie, the Tom Hanks movie, their visitors went from approximately maybe 30,000 a year to, after the movie came out, 30,000 in 1 month. They had 170,000 visitors that year, and it's about £5 to get in here, so there's a lot of money. All that goes to restoring the church. And all these pillars here and inside as well they think possibly had statues, or they're not really sure, but the place was ransacked by the Protestants, smashed, because it was a Catholic church. It's now a Episcopalian church, and is still used as a church, but yeah, a lot of damage was done over the years because it was a Catholic church. So restoration work is sort of ongoing, and they've got places inside where they've replaced a few of the cross members and stuff, because it's starting to fall apart in places. And it's soft sandstone too, so. But the talk was really good. I would have liked to have just sort of tape recorded the talk, but yeah, again, we can't do it thanks to the Americans. So now there is apparently a vault underneath, and they haven't opened it. No one in living memory can remember when it was last opened, but apparently it's as deep as the church is high. And so there is historical references to 20 Knights Templar type guys in their suits of armour laid out down there, but it's, she said, 14 feet deep with sand and stone, and they haven't gone down there. You know, imagine ground penetrating radar might be able to do it in the future. They might be able to map out what was there. But yeah, just an unbelievable sight. Inside is just, you'll have to go on Google to check it out. But there's, you know, pagan symbols. The green man is fairly prominent all over the place, and as well as Christian symbols. This part here, the baptistry, was added in the 1800s and is like relatively new. But yeah, it's an amazing little place. Try and zoom in a little bit into the church from there. Now, I'm not videoing or cameraing inside the church because I can't, but from here you can sort of look down to the main altar. One of the coolest things was the story of the apprentice's pillar, and so I might be able to get that from the doorway. Now there's a heap of people in there at the moment, but down there on the right, I'll try and get that from the other doorway. So the master mason, the owner wanted, or the Earl wanted, or William wanted some fancier pillars on the inside of the church, and so he had a little. The master mason built a fancier pillar, and it just wasn't quite fancy enough for the owner, and so he had a little model made up, and the master mason decided that he had to go to Europe to get some inspiration in order to be able to do that pillar. But while he was away, his apprentice had a dream and presented a drawing of his dream, and the owner, the William of St. Clair, took it as a divine and said, yeah, go ahead and build that pillar. So the apprentice did, and when the master mason came back, he was jealous as, because it's a really neat pillar, you know, it's really well done, and in a fit of rage he hammered him on the head with the mallet and killed him, and of course he was then charged with murder, and he was then hung. And so inside the church, and you'll have to go on Google to see this, but inside the church there's his pillar. After he was killed, or after he was hung, the rest of the masons covered up his pillar and made it look like just a normal pillar. And it wasn't until some restoration work was being done and a piece dropped off that they found the master mason's original pillar on the left hand side, and on the right hand side you can still see the apprentice pillar, which is an awesome piece of work. But the rest of the masons covered up the mason's pillar, and they're taking that down. Now the mason's pillar is pretty cool, but it's not as cool as the apprentice's one was, and that's so. And also up in the corners there's little faces of the master mason, the apprentice with a scar on his head, and the apprentice's mum weeping. So the master mason, his head looks directly at the apprentice's pillar, and it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to sneak in here and see if I can get a little bit of video. I shouldn't really, but it's just, I'll see if I can video the master mason's pillar, which is down at the end there. I'm going to get some ugly looks at this probably, but I'm not moving. So, and then the other pillar is on that other side, and it's pretty cool. And that's the apprentice's pillar. And then there's the crypt down below, and I'm not going to go in there and do any videoing. I'm just going to call it good from here. But it's an amazing sight in there. Really neat. Got a really good talk from the lady too. It was awesome. It's just such a shame that one foolish American has ruined it for the rest of the world as far as that goes. I'd like to know her name so we can all write her ugly letters for the rest of her life. But yeah, what an awesome place. So that's Rosslyn Chapel, and I can't go in and do any videoing because it's just not cool, but we'll call it good at that. And I'll zoom up on that to finish. Okay, this is the Falkirk wheel, and what this is a way of dropping the boats from the canal up there, because it's part of the canal system, And so a boat goes in up into that unit up there, which is full of water, and I'm not sure if we're going to see the last boat come down or whether we've just missed it, but basically that's full of water, and this thing rotates around and the boat comes down to this level and the canals carry on down the river, which is pretty impressive. The only one in the world, and I'm hoping we're going to get a look at it doing its thing, and with a bit of luck. We just missed the last boat, unfortunately, me and Dad. The last boat was at 4:10 and it's about 4:30 now, so we're going to hopefully come back and jump on a boat and go up into the Falkirk wheel, like do the whole circuit. I'm not actually sure what you do when you get up there, whether you just sit in the boat or what you do, but and I can't see a boat up the top there. So the girl said that it's gonna do its thing in a little bit here. So yeah, the Falkirk wheel, and this is just outside of Stirling and towards Glasgow a bit. So hopefully it's going to do its thing, and I'll video that, but I'll walk around and show you what I can anyway. And those are the little punts that go up and down the canals. So with a bit of luck we'll see it move, and if we don't, with a bit of luck we'll be able to get back here on Saturday before we take off on Sunday. So at least that's our plan. But yeah, a little bit of interesting stuff on the canal workers and the canals. Navvies, oh yeah, labourers who built the canals known as navvies. Accident rate of 1 or 2 deaths for every mile of canal was common. They earned 4p a day, and then they became maintenance guys on the banks. And here's stuff going on. Scotland's most notorious canal workers were Burke and Hare, who worked as navvies on the Union Canal at the time. Criminals commonly robbed graves and sold bodies to medical schools. Burke and Hare took a quicker route. They became serial killers, murdering 16 folk in a year. Burke was hanged in 1829, but nobody knows how, where or when Hare died. So quite an impressive piece of engineering. Oh yeah, so as it spins down, the central piece that holds the boat is, oh here we go, she's away. Alright, I've got to back up the hill to get this, but that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, there is a boat up there. There it goes. That one's empty. This is the last turn of the day, so unfortunately we didn't get on it, but we'll come back and have another thrash, I think. basically a big lock at the bottom that they open up, I imagine, once they get it down and it's in place, and open the lock and out goes the boat. Pretty unreal piece of construction. A lock that enters into the lower canal. There's a couple of boats in it. So hopefully, yeah, we go on that for a bit of a laugh maybe. I'm not sure what you'd exactly do once you're up there. There doesn't appear to be a lot to do up there. Should have stayed up there, I guess. There you can see the water, and what have they got in there? 1 or 2 boats? Or just one boat? Just one boat. That's pretty cool. Pretty impressive. And there they are. Not sure how long it takes them to open the gates so the boat can drive out of there, or how exactly they do that. It's probably a little bit of a long process, but pretty neat. Only one in the world. And there's the other side. Cool. I'll wander down and see if we can see them opening the gate and letting the boat out, but quite an impressive piece of machinery. Alright, that didn't take long. They're dropping the gates now. People about to get on their boat. Water's sort of equalising there by the look of it. Buddy firing up his boat. And that's it. Simple as that. They're away. Huh. And away they go. Off down the canal. Lowered about, I would say 30 metres. Just guessing, about 100 by, or maybe even a little bit more than that, 40 metres maybe. I'll finish down there with Captain Falkirk. That was pretty neat, eh? The Falkirk wheel. Pretty cool, eh?
That's how it happens. It's just simple, but
yeah,
fabulous.
Yeah.
And the little fella come out.
Yeah. Sweet as. Okay, the Falkirk wheel. Now we're off to the pub. Perfect.